So it's time for us to talk about good old Sean O'Malley. The UFC believes that this guy is a star. They're pushing him to the moon, but I'm here to refute that. I'm here to say no, he is not a star. I don't even believe that he is on Israel Adesanya levels or even Alexander Volkanovski's level. He is simply just not a huge star in the UFC. And right now, the UFC is giving him star treatment. They're putting all their chips in. They're going all in on Sean O'Malley. And I believe he's going to flop at UFC 299 and not be this huge megastar that they want him to be. I mean, let's just look at UFC 299 by itself. They have Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint-Denis. They have Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page. They have Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. They're stacking this card beyond belief because they know that this won't sell well with just Sean O'Malley at the helm. And this was the same exact treatment they gave Israel Adesanya when he fought Jared Cannonier. They knew that Adesanya wasn't going to sell a ton of pay-per-views because his name value was kind of dipping off. So they stacked the card beyond belief on International Fight Week, which it is International Fight Week. Don't get me wrong. It's going to have to be a stacked card, but they did that on purpose because they knew Israel Adesanya by himself was not going to sell 500K pay-per-views. So the UFC purposely stacked that card with Adesanya for the fact that they can say that, oh, look at Adesanya. He sold this many pay-per-views. He's a star. When in all reality, the card sold well because it was a great card. They had so many big names on it. But looking back at UFC 276, it might not have even sold that well. They didn't release the pay-per-view number. They didn't tell us how many buys it sold. So did it really even do that well with them stacking the card? And this is the same exact thing that I think is going to happen with Sean O'Malley. They're overstacking UFC 299 to ensure the fact that once the card's said and done, and if Sean O'Malley wins, they can say, look at this. This card sold X amount of pay-per-view buys. It's because Sean O'Malley was the main event. And I truly don't believe that's going to be the case. It's just going to be an amazing card, and people are going to buy it because it's a stacked card. And yeah, does Sean O'Malley bring in pay-per-view buys? Is he a big name in the sport? For sure. He's not a nobody. I'm not calling him a Pantoja level fighter right now in terms of name value. But is he the next Conor McGregor? I think we all can agree that he is nowhere close to that, and he will never be anywhere close to McGregor levels. And that's not even my main comparison. Is he even Israel Adesanya levels? Is he Adesanya back when he fought Vettori, back when he fought Jan Blachowicz, back when he fought Paulo Costa? Can he sell similar numbers to that Israel Adesanya? And I don't think so. And just to give you some comparisons, some food for thought, let's go through Israel Adesanya and the numbers he sold when he fought Vettori, when he fought Blachowicz, and when he fought Paulo Costa. And the reason I'm picking these dates in particular is because this is the only time period that we have any sort of pay-per-view buy rate from the UFC in regards to Israel Adesanya. Pretty much after the Vettori fight, the UFC didn't release any pay-per-view numbers in regards to Israel Adesanya. His name kind of dipped down. I don't think he was selling as much. So pretty much between these three fights, it's pretty much the most accurate prediction or the most accurate name value that we have on Israel Adesanya right now. So going through it real quick, Adesanya versus Vettori 2 at UFC 263 sold 600K pay-per-view buys, which is a good number. At UFC 259, when Adesanya moved up to fight Jan Blachowicz, that sold 800K pay-per-view buys, so he was doing well with that. And then when he fought Paulo Costa at UFC 253, that sold 700K pay-per-view buys. So these are the numbers. The reason why I'm pointing these out is the fact that these are the numbers that the UFC believes that Sean O'Malley can sell. And I don't think he can come close to that. This is what the UFC is expecting to come out of Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera. They are kind of pretty much ballparking that he can sell somewhere within this range. Now, can he? Probably. But not because he's Sean O'Malley, not because he's this huge knockout artist. It's because the card is stacked. And the reason why I believe Sean O'Malley isn't this huge star is because the fact that look at his YouTube channel, man. This guy's views are mid at best. Obviously, they're better than mine because I'm just a small channel, but these aren't the views that you would expect from a guy who is going to sell a ton of pay-per-views. Let's just go through it. His most recent post, which was 3 hours ago, I'll give him some grace with this one, but it only had 9.8K views in the last 3 hours. His past two podcasts, 51K views, 59K views. Those were posted 2 days ago and 9 days ago. 13 days ago, 179K views. That's pretty much up there with anybody. Then another podcast, I believe, that only got 77K views, 137K, 47K, 73K. Like, these aren't a crazy amount of views that you would expect. And when I compare it to Israel Adesanya, which is probably what the UFC wants him to be, this guy's nowhere close to Adesanya. And I would argue that Adesanya is now on a bit of a decline in terms of name value. Hasn't fought in a long time, lost his most recent fight, not a champion anymore. There's not much stock in Adesanya right now in terms of his fighting career. He's probably at his lowest point since he was, I guess, before he was champion. But let's just go through Israel Adesanya's real quick. 1 million views 3 days ago. 239K views 8 days ago, 224K 2 weeks ago, 103K views 3 weeks ago. This guy is pulling in over 100K easily every video, and I would say his average is probably around 250K views. But you know what? I won't even compare him to Israel Adesanya. Let's compare him to somebody who I think is definitely not the biggest name in the UFC. He's a big name, but not the craziest name or the biggest star in the UFC for sure. And that's Alexander Volkanovski. He just lost his belt. Volk has never been this huge namestay, this really solidified guy, this star in the UFC. Never been that kind of guy. He's been a well-known name, a big name, I would say, but not this star in the making, you know what I'm saying? But Volk at this point is getting better views than O'Malley. The most recent, obviously, this is a huge deal, is when he just lost his belt. 596K views. His face-off got 56K views, 152K views. 121, 95, 89, 194, 271, 203. At this point, man, Volk is an equal star to O'Malley. And this is a bad thing. This is a bad deal for the UFC because they want O'Malley to be more than just Volkanovski. They want him to be this huge megastar potentially that can sell them a ton of pay-per-views. And I don't think he's close. I don't think he's going to be that guy ever. His trash talk on the mic is just not there. O'Malley is a sick fighter. He has potential. He's always had potential. But I think with the way he acts outside of the octagon with his whole, kid and wife situation and how that goes down, his open relationship, people don't really relate to O'Malley that well. I think him and Topuria have this similar sort of deal with themselves where they're not really seen as normal people. And the reason why Sean Strickland's such a big name and Adesanya is because they have some relativity to them, right? You can kind of compare yourself to them as people and view them as a just normal person. When you watch Adesanya do his, his watch-alongs and his reaction videos to Knockout and other UFC cards, you can see him being a normal fan of the sport. Well, Sean O'Malley, it's like this guy is simply just a celebrity, and that's just not relatable at all. And that's why Sean Strickland, again, is such a huge name right now, because he's like one of the dudes. He's like one of the boys. Like, he seems like a normal person with normal views, like a guy you would see at the grocery store every single day. But when you watch Sean O'Malley, it's like this guy's a celebrity. He's a movie star. He's walking the red carpet. Like, I don't think I could walk up to Sean O'Malley and have a nice conversation with him like I could with Sean Strickland. This is why UFC fighters, if they want to make more money and become a big name, they need to actually put their personality out there, because Sean O'Malley, he has very little personality, man. Like, his press conferences are pretty lame. He's more so a troll, doesn't have good comebacks, nothing witty about him. He just is out there just kind of giving his one-liners and his little quick comebacks, I guess, but there's not much personality to him. And when you watch like Sean Strickland, when you watch like Conor McGregor, like, these guys have a good personality and they have witty comebacks, or they have some tantrum they go on, if you're Sean Strickland, where he can pretty much say whatever he wants about a certain country and their politics or whatever that's relatable. And my main point is the fact that there's something about these fighters that draws attention to them, and it's not just only their fight style. Objectively, Sean Strickland is more boring than Sean O'Malley. Let's be honest here. Sean O'Malley is a one-punch KO artist. He looks so slick on the feet. He has true talent at bantamweight. And Sean Strickland has this goofy style. He's had a ton of boring fights in the past. He's had a few snooze fests. Like, Sean Strickland is not this guy you're watching for his one-punch KO power or his finishing ability. You're watching him because he's funny as shit. He's entertaining to listen to. And when you watch Sean O'Malley, you're watching him because you want to see him KO somebody. And that is not enough to carry you to be this next huge megastar in the UFC. You simply need to have a bigger than life personality or be somewhat relatable, and you can be a megastar in the UFC. And I don't believe Sean O'Malley can be that. This guy is an Instagram warrior, let's be real here. Sean O'Malley is for the kids or the teenager audience, the way he lives his life and shows off his, his huge house, whatever, I think in Arizona. Don't know where he lives exactly, but his nice little house, his little memes, the way he does his hair, the way he dresses, that's more of a lifestyle suited to bring attention from teenagers who want to have that lifestyle when they get older. That's more appealing to a younger audience, whereas people who are in their their mid to late 20s, people who are just older in general. We don't care about that shit. We don't care about how big your mansion is. We don't care about your hair. We don't care about what clothes you wear. We just want to watch a nice sick fight and a guy who is relatable on the mic. And even though O'Malley does complete one of that criteria, the other one, he just simply doesn't. And I'll end it with this. I'm a huge O'Malley fan. I love the way he fights. I think he's so slick on the feet. He is one of the best strikers in the UFC, in my opinion. And I'm really curious to see how much he sells for UFC 299. I want to see the pay-per-view buy rate for that. I want to see how much he exactly sells. I want him to prove me wrong, honestly. I think having a big star in the UFC is what's best for the sport. It's what's best for my YouTube channel and for YouTube in general. And having more stars in the UFC just helps the promotion be bigger and become a bigger sport, and we can reach out to a bigger audience and have more people involved in MMA. But then again, I don't think O'Malley is going to be able to reach peak Adesanya levels or even Volk levels at this point. And hopefully the UFC is successful in pushing him to be this next star. But I think O'Malley needs to improve some things outside of the octagon, like his mic work. His mic work is atrocious. He's just a cringe troll at some points. The way he live streams on Twitch, I think, is awful, man. It's like one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life, bro. Like, he's just so boring on his live streams. It's terrible. Like, he's not relatable at all. Like, he genuinely needs to find ways to get his personality to be more relatable to an audience, I guess, which I don't think at this point he probably can come back from, which does indeed suck. So yeah, O'Malley, can he be a star? Yeah, I guess, but will he be a star? Not in my humble opinion. But let me know how you feel in the comment section down below. Do you think O'Malley is a star, or can he be a huge mega star that's higher than Israel Adesanya? Let me know how you feel in the comment section. Again, I'm out of here, guys. I'll see y'all later. Like, subscribe, hit that bell icon for notifications. Peace.